The officers never saw an argument. They arrived after the fact. They never saw any injuries. They heard two very different stories. And yet, somebody still wound up in handcuffs. In Alabama, the police don't have to witness anything to arrest you for domestic violence. The police arrest if they have probable cause in a domestic violence case. If they have reasonable grounds to believe that some sort of domestic violence occurred, somebody's going to get arrested. The bar for probable cause is pretty low. The sources of probable cause can be injuries. It doesn't have to be injuries. They can witness fear. They can see something in the house that's broken. It can be a 911 call, even a 911 hang-up call. It can be a demonstration of fear. Any number of things. And if the police think it's enough, they can arrest somebody. When officers arrive on a domestic violence call, they're going to act fast. They're going to separate the parties. They're going to interview the people, and they're going to assess any kind of danger. If they're going to make an error, it's going to be on the side of an arrest. The general attitude is, hey, we're going to arrest now. We'll let the judge sort it out tomorrow. So what happens when the officers have conflicting stories in a domestic violence case? Well, conflicting stories don't cancel one another out. The officers are going to look at things to help them decide credibility. What are the emotions? What's the fear? They'll look at injuries. Does somebody have more injuries or less injuries or any injuries? So they're going to evaluate these things in making a decision. People are sometimes surprised as to who gets arrested. And the reason for that is that the police are supposed to arrest what's called the primary aggressor. That does not mean necessarily the person who started the fight. So, maybe the woman is yelling at the guy, or she, maybe she pokes him in the chest in an argument. They're going to look at who they think, not necessarily who they think started it, but who's the bigger, the main, the primary aggressor. And that is usually who goes to jail, or that's who's supposed to go to jail under the law. Now, for a person who's been arrested for domestic violence, there is immediate legal trouble that they're going to encounter. One of the first things is that the judge is almost always going to issue a no contact order. And that may mean that a person can't live where they were living. I've had clients who wind up living in their car. There's going to be, of course, an immediately scheduled court date. You're going to be going to court mighty fast. Of course, you may not have to worry about where to live if you wind up in jail or if you have a high bond that you can't make. But these are legitimate issues that come up. You're also going to find out that you have a restriction on your ownership of a firearm, like you can't while the case is pending. You can't be around it. And it can impact other issues like custody. If there's a custody battle going on about your kids, well, another court's going to decide what's in the best interests of the child, where are the kids safest, and an accusation of domestic violence, although you may not have been convicted of anything, that accusation can negatively impact that as well. So if you've been arrested for domestic violence, what do you do next? Stay quiet. You want to let your lawyer do your talking. That's what we're paid to do. And your lawyer could do a number of things. He can help you with, of course, the case itself. He may be able to help on the protection order. He may be able to help you with bond. Generally, a lawyer is going to do everything he can, a conscientious lawyer, to protect your rights and help you get through the case. When somebody gets cuffed, often it's the person who least expects it. And that's the beginning of matters. You need a good domestic violence lawyer. If you want our help, give us a call.